Oh, it could have been at the top.
Let's see.
We'll finish telling you about this guy here in just a second. But
right
there, including a plantation with slaves. So
this was James. I cannot even pronounce that dude's middle name. Dale Ripple Thompson,
which is who we were telling you about a second ago. And I'll finish reading that to y'all. He was married twice. His first wife is buried next to him in this cemetery. We can not really tell which one right here, but they're in there. His son, John, who grew up in Shoal Creek, which is the area we are at, joined the 10th Alabama Infantry in Jacksonville and was severely wounded at the Battle of Gettysburg, and later died of his wound and is buried in Hollywood Cemetery in Richmond, Virginia. And where it mentions Sweetwater Lake, it is going to be on the map right here. It's Choccolocco Creek Lake number 7. The Q right there is Sweetwater Lake. And if you do come up through here, don't try to drive out there without an ATV.
Okay, so a couple things I want to talk about here. First, they mentioned nothing about the forced removal of the Native Americans here with the Forced Removal Act. I can't remember exactly what date that is. But, see, they moved the Creek Indians, and I don't know if the Cherokee was much around here. I think there's more towards Tennessee, you know, the Trail of Tears and all that. But, see, the story is that, you know, Chief Ladaga Trail, all this Chief Ladaga merchandise. You know, it's Chief Ladaga who sold out the Creek Indians to begin with. And I believe that, you know, because people trying to bring in these church, you know, like, look, right here. This place had only a couple different places, right? We had the post office, the Cove Church, blasphemy against Jesus Christ, you know what I mean? Because they took the land from the Indians. A lot of them were, you know, a lot of them wasn't hostile, man. But there was a lot of hostile Indians. I can imagine. But see, just like what happened with Custard, man, you know, because a couple, you know, this one sack of Indians, you know, murdered him and his crew, which him and another guy said they was going to go out and, you know, take over everything anyway. When I read the history, and, you know, he got decapitated, you know, ripped into pieces by these people. But, dude, and then they went up there and just killed everybody over a couple, you know, and then that's when they started wiping them out of here, right? See, I studied a lot of the 1800s, you know, to not early 1900s when, this is even before I met my wife. For over 10 years now, I've put in study on this stuff. And one of the people I want to look at on the sign right after this, 1861 to 1865, the American Civil War. There's more people killed in the American Civil War almost than any war that's ever took place in history. And, you know, these people didn't even fight with guns and all that.